What's up, everybody? I've been thinking a lot lately about awesome people. It seems so hard to find them on TV anymore. But I know they're out there. So I'm taking a road trip across the U.S. to find them. It's gonna be awesome.
Baby, I'm sweet on you, like jelly on toast. I could only steal the moon, count up each.
Tell me about yourself, just the past, present, and what kind of plans you have for the future.
Well, my name's Stacy Fordyce. I went to Parkersburg South High School, where I was a Southern Belle, and I ran track, and I've always been into sports, always been active and enjoyed them, and I enjoy life. And I went to WVUP, and but shortly after that time, I was in a car wreck, so that kind of changed things for me, which is why I'm where I'm at today.
My name is Andy Goldman. I'm from Parkersburg, West Virginia. I went to college at Glenville State, where I graduated in 2006, and then I joined the Army. I presently live in Cross Lanes with my wife, Gina, and our daughter, Isabella. I was a part of an organization known as ISAF-SOF, and SOF being Special Operations Forces. I did intel for that organization. So while we were out on convoy one day, it was just a couple vehicles. My vehicle was hit with an IED, and just all of a sudden it was bang, and it was in slow motion, and your adrenaline instantly starts pumping, and you're so in the moment right then and there. Where was the additional ambush? Why am I still here? It's so many different things go through your head.
Caitlyn was a very unique, interesting little girl. She was born June 11th, 1999. One thing that always sticks out in my mind is how happy she was and how much she cared about other people being happy. For a small child to make you want to be a better person because you could see it in her, it was very amazing. As a parent, I feel like I learned as much from my child as I was trying to teach her. She had such a huge heart.
Caitlyn made the decision to be an organ donor on her own accord. So coming from somebody so young, and obviously your daughter, how did that make you feel that she wanted to be an organ donor?
It was very shocking because, like I said, it was kind of out of the blue. She had moved to Martinsburg with her mom. She'd went to the DMV to have her license address changed on her license and everything. And Caitlyn saw the insignia on her license about organ donation and asked her mom, well, what's that mean? So Nicole explained to her what it meant, and she was like, instantly it resonated with her. Wow, yeah, I want to do that. And she said, well, I told Mom, I'm telling you, I want to be an organ donor if something would ever happen to me. And I was like, okay, if that's what you say, Caitlyn, then that's what we would honor that, your wishes. Not thinking that I would ever have to be faced with that decision anytime in my lifetime, really. Parent, you're not supposed to bury your children. So, but to hear that coming from someone so young, so aware, it was kind of makes you proud as a parent. But she's focusing on positive things and always trying to do better or make this world a better place.
Tell me about the night of the car accident.
Well, that night, during school and stuff, I was never into partying or drinking, never smoking or anything like that. But towards the end of my senior year, I kind of got in with a crowd that was different than my own, and they were more of the partiers. So that night of the accident, I was at a party and I had been drinking. An ex-boyfriend that I'd been away from for about a year, showed up out of the blue. Some of the other people there that I didn't really know, they were going to take a drive up to the gas station. It was probably not even a mile down the road. But he asked me to please get in the vehicle, just come with him and ride up so he could talk to me, just talk to me by himself. And I got in the vehicle and we took that ride up there, and it probably hadn't even been driving for 2 minutes. I can remember the car just jerking to the right. It hit the embankment and it rolled the car. Of course, after that, it knocked me out. So I was thrown through the back glass. And then when I woke up, I can remember just waking up out in the grass somewhere, just looking up at the sky. Another first thing that I remember was the guy that was driving. He was running, because he was nervous, and he lived around there because, drinking and just wrecked. And I can just remember running, kind of jumping over me and saying, I wasn't driving. And my ex-boyfriend came over, and he was like right there with me, and he's like, come on, Stacy, you gotta get up, we gotta go, and I said, I can't, and time kind of went by fast because I was thinking, because I knew something was serious because I couldn't move, but I couldn't really have been shocked, couldn't really think about it.
Just the accident in itself, how have you moved past it and stayed positive?
Well, there were times later that I did get mad about, thinking about that, he had run. I was more mad at myself, though. I knew even the driver, I knew he didn't intend for this to happen to me. And I looked at myself as just as guilty as them, so I couldn't dwell on those kind of things. Sometimes I would get mad thinking about it, but it doesn't accomplish anything by being mad at people. And it happened, and I just try to realize that, I got to take the situation and make something positive come about it, make something positive come from it. Because it's the truth, I think, that good, there's endless possibilities come from a bad situation. You can take a bad situation and turn it into something positive. And that's, what I'm trying to do by speaking or doing whatever. It may not be the plan, my original plan, my things have had to change, but I'm just moving past it and doing what I can now.
You've told me about the bad times. Can you tell me about the most rewarding time that you had with the military?
Absolutely. And this is kind of a series of things that happened. I did a bunch of boards. And basically it's a competition between other NCOs and yourself to see who's the best soldier in that area. So I won the one for my base and progressed up, for the area and then the region. And I ended up becoming the 2010 Army NCO of the Year for the European Command. And so when I went to my new unit at Fort Drum, they found out that I had won these awards. And they came to me and they asked me if I wanted to be a representative from 3rd Brigade to go around. And I did a 2-week tour of the country visiting wounded warriors from my unit. I had just come from visiting a soldier that I had personally trained. He was a double above the knee amputee, and he had lost his right arm in an IED explosion. And I walk in the door and I look at him and I see him and he sees me. He's like, Sergeant Goldman, hey, what's going on? And it broke my heart. And the chaplain is telling him, we're fighting the good fight and we're doing some wonderful things. And the kid just isn't having it. And so the chaplain is winding up. And I'm like, sir, is it all right if I stick around and just talk to this kid for a minute? And I look this kid in the face. He's a 19-year-old kid who's lost his legs. And I look at him and I said, I understand that you're upset, but I want you to look at it this way. You did something that just a fraction of the people in America can say that they did. You knew this risk, and you took that risk, and you contributed yourself, and it was selfless service that put you there. Do you know how courageous of a person you are to be able to do that? And the fraction of people that are in America, or the world for that matter, that can say that they had that kind of courage to be able to do that? I said, you're a 19-year-old kid. You've got the rest of your life ahead of you. You are the most courageous person I know. and you're going to go and you're going to live a good life. You are going to go and you are going to be a war hero. You are not going to have a life for the worse, my friend. You are going to have a life for the better. And that really sunk into him. And I could see that right there made a difference for this kid. And by far, that was the most rewarding time that I had ever had in the Army.
I was getting ready for work, and 6:30 in the morning, I get a phone call from Nicole, and it says, "You've got to come, something's major wrong." She said, "Caitlyn's had a seizure, and we're on our way to the hospital now." I'm like, "Okay, I'll be there." So we're leaving, flying down the road. About an hour into the trip, I get a phone call. She's not going to make it. Something's really happened. She's had a massive hemorrhage in her brain, and they're life flighting her to Children's Hospital in DC. We're leaving right now. I'm like, okay. So we're flying down the road, and the whole time I'm thinking, nah, she's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. It'll be okay. God won't let this happen. And to walk into that hospital and to see her laying there unresponsive with all the tubes and on the life support, it was very shocking, very heart-wrenching. And it turned out she had an AVM that had ruptured. We did not know that she had the AVM, nothing, no prior health conditions, no prior anything that would signal that or trigger that for us, no reason to go to the doctor. So when they found the AVM, it was in one of the worst places that you could have one, right on the base of her neck. So by noon the next morning, they had called us in and said that there was nothing else that they were going to be able to do. So it was very life-altering to hear news like that. Coming from a father who it's your job to protect your kids from being hurt, knowing that there's nothing I'm going to be able to do to help her or protect her, it was very heart-wrenching. So when my prayer wasn't answered, it shook me and shook my faith. So I was angry for a while, and it took me a while before I could even step foot back into church. And in reading some different stories and doing a lot of soul searching, I came across a story pretty similar to Caitlyn's. And when his child didn't make it, his viewpoint was very eye-opening for me, because I felt like I was in the same situation. His viewpoint was there were prayers answered that day. Somebody else was praying for a miracle, and that prayer was answered. And it was answered through the gift of his son, who was also an organ donor. There was miracles that took place that day because of Caitlyn. Might not be the miracle that I wanted, but there was miracles that took place that day. It helped me, to hear what an impact she made, whether it was in life or death. Her goal was to change the world, and she was doing that.
Today you work as a motivational speaker. So just kind of tell me about that.
At school, I was pretty involved, and the principals there at the time, and a lot of the teachers, they all knew me. And with me, I had been the prom queen and the homecoming queen at school, and I was Southern Belle and stuff. So to them, they thought that it would be good for me to come to talk, because they thought, it might make a bigger impact on these kids to see, if it can happen to her, then it could happen to you, So they asked me to come and speak, and of course, I took the offer, because if I can help, then I want to. And so that's kind of how it started. Anyone I can reach, it's kind of like that saying, if you can reach one person out of the whole group, then you might have saved somebody. So that means a lot to me. I've always looked at life like, yeah, bad things happen, but life's still so beautiful, For instance, I have a little niece that's everything to me. She's been around me only since I've been paralyzed. She loves me just the same as if I was up walking and doing stuff. You can still have relationships, and you still have your family. Just to look outside and see the sunshine and see a beautiful flower that bloomed or whatever. Maybe I can't get up and take a walk through the woods like I used to, but I can go outside and enjoy, God's creations. And you know what I mean? To me, that's still so worth it. I don't want to waste my time dwelling or sitting in my house and pondering on everything that I can't do when there's still so much to enjoy and so much that I can do, And that's why I'm speaking today. I took a bad situation and I took something good from it. Now maybe I can educate people and make them think a little clearly, or think a little more positive.
She helped save 4 other people's lives who might not have made it. One was a 37-year-old lady. The other lady, I think, was 58. An 18-year-old boy and a 37-year-old man. She had it written. It is all she wants to do in her life was to make the world a better place and be nice to everybody. She didn't see race. She didn't see what clothes you wore. She saw you as a person. She chose to take the positive side. She always had a positive outlook, and it was very infectious. I miss my daughter every minute of every day. I know where she's at. I know she's in heaven, and I know that she did what she wanted to do. It was amazing how many eyes were open for the first time when she shut hers for the last time.
I was so depressed for that 2 weeks, especially after visiting the guy that I had personally trained. And I went back to the hotel and I was just like, I looked myself in the mirror and I said, this kid is never going to be able to walk again, and he's got a better attitude than you do. It really was just such an incredible experience for me.
There's so many things I thought I couldn't do that I've already figured out ways around that I can do. And who knows what next that I'll learn that I can still do and get out there and do. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things that are next for me, and there might even be something to surprise me. You just have to, you're never going to get anywhere, and if you don't try. It is overwhelming to think about it, but if you just make yourself and try the situation out, you will figure out ways around things. Don't get discouraged. You can't be discouraged about that stuff. You just got to get out there and do it.
When you surround yourself by positive people, they boost you up, and then your positivity boosts them up. And it's a wonderful cycle of positivity.
Just to take 5 minutes of your time, take a half an hour of your time and sit down and have lunch with somebody who might be hurting or might be going through something. You never know what that half an hour, what that 5 minutes could mean to them. Just to know that somebody cares enough to take that 5 minutes and ask how your day is, or to smile at while you're passing them on the street. Or I think it's so much more than donating money, or I think it's more about time and love and kindness.
Hey, we should get married, jet set down the coast, 'cause baby I'm sweet on you, like jelly on toast. I could only steer the moon, count up each and every star. I'd steam the windows with you in the backseat of cars, because I want to do crazy things with you. I said, baby, crazy over you. We could paint the town so red and peel rubber down the road. I'd sit and look at you till your face turns old. We could live in hotel suites on the very top floor. I ride the elevator every day. I knock on everybody's door. Tell them that I want to do crazy things with you. I said, baby, I'm crazy over you.